Cell phones, a lot of attention has been lavished on cell phone use, particularly with the new law coming in place. The new law, let me be explicit, the new law requires that there be no handheld devices being used by individuals when they are driving come January 1st. The statute actually indicates that for individuals who are in a part of their employment are needing to be able to have communication, direct communication, there is an exemption. That would be the FedEx driver, the others, but also bus or rail operators who are on official business with dispatch. That's not on a cell phone, but in the rail setting for us, Nextel communication, or the communication on the handheld devices in the buses, actually communicating with around an emergency situation or other element. That's something that the operators are in fact expected to be able to provide as part of their service.
But those, excuse me, Fred, but those devices are not cell phones.
The Nextel is cell phone-like, but it looks more almost like the older walkie-talkie style. It's much a larger, bulkier element. But it is to be used only, again, in communication with dispatch. Now, our policy has been, and it has been for a very long time, very clear on the issue of cell phone use. And that is that cell phone use is prohibited for our rail operators. It is prohibited for our bus operators. It is prohibited for any Trimet employee, even if they are, in fact, in their private vehicle but conducting Trimet business on a cell phone. The prohibition applies. They cannot do so. If it's in a private vehicle or in a Trimet, what we call non-revenue vehicle, they are required to pull to the side of the road to be able to answer that telephone or to be able to communicate. And certainly, by the way, when I say communicate, this includes texting. This is not just issues around the verbal use of that telephone. Likewise, for operators, bus operators, they are not able to have, they are obviously not able to use it when they are, in fact, in revenue service, but they are, in fact, required to be able to have it away, not to be able to be disturbed by it. That would include rain. If it were in a backpack, they are able to use it only at layovers. So, if they're at a stop servicing passengers, it is prohibited. If they're at a railroad crossing and there's a 5-minute train going by, they are prohibited from using it. They can't otherwise use it. And we expect, in fact, if there is, as we would say, for an emergency bathroom break, if there's somehow a family emergency of some sort, then they must do the same thing that they would do for that bathroom break. That is, they can pull over, announce to their passenger, and then make that call. But it has to be, the family emergency. The child is taken to the hospital or something else. But they are not allowed to be able to communicate other than at the time of layover. So we have. This is, as I said, long-term standing policy. There is no question about that. But as I think we have all become aware, I have, as I look at the data that are available, that handheld devices, at least as the research indicates, has roughly the distraction level that a 0.08 alcohol level does. And I think all of us realize how that potentially dangerous that can be. And as I watch traffic go by, auto traffic go by, and see well over half of the people on a cell phone, it doesn't give me a lot of comfort. But I want you to know our policy is very clear. What we're also doing, however, is discussing with the union, as we are required to under contract, how we are going to implement that. That is the practice of that. Our policy is clear. That's not a debate. That's not an issue for negotiation. But the practice of exactly how we're going to do that and how we're going to hold people accountable is something that we are discussing with the union. And as said, that on January 1st, the effective date of the statute, even though our policies have been in place for some time, it will in fact be a time where we expect that the consequences of violating that policy are going to be much clearer, and people will be held much happy to answer any questions about that before I move